So it's time for another guest speaker on my channel called Midi Gottet. And in this interview, he's going to talk about his experience with Saint Germain and writing a book with Saint Germain, what he's learned through the process, what he's learned from Saint Germain, what an ascended master is, what are the tools he gained, what was this process like. And so it's going to be a little different than my other videos, but I find Midi really a cool guy, and his story is really interesting, and I read his book. And so let's jump into it. Let's see if this is something that resonates with you. And if this is the first time that we meet, I'm Jonas Erb, and on this channel we talk about authenticity and personal growth. We provide tools and ideas that help you gain clarity, freedom and fulfillment in your life. If you haven't yet, consider subscribing. So let's jump into it. Hi everyone, I'm very happy to introduce you to my friend Midi, who wrote this book here. It's called Gespräche mit Gottet. It's in German. It's kind of like a play of words with conversations with God, because his name is Gottet, which is almost the same as Gott, which means God. And I'm very happy to welcome you here on my channel to talk a little bit about your experience with what you talk about in this book, because you wrote this book as a dialogue with Ascended Master Graf Adamus of Saint Germain, right? And yeah, so thank you very much for being on my channel.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. And and so I would like to start first off about with basically the question: what is an ascended master in your experience?
An ascended master. You should know, because you're probably one, and you don't know. That could be. I mean, it's not like you're an ascended master and you're actually down on the earth, incarnated, and you incarnate into the total that you forget everything down here. That's the name of the game. And but actually, as an ascended master is one incarnated being, not an celestial being, not an angel. It's actually an incarnated human being that ascended to the level of an ascended master, which is on the same level, on the same scale, like angels or archangels.
Okay.
And Saint Germain is actually a very special one, because he's actually in charge of the ascension, as the name says, ascended master, and now he's in charge of the global ascension of humanity going through the fifth dimension. And he is a very special character. He would love this expression, a very special character, because he was incarnated into a few famous human beings, like Joseph from Nazareth, the father of Jesus. He was also actually he was actually Shakespeare, but he was the ghostwriter of Shakespeare. He was, nobody really knows, but he was actually the guy who gave Shakespeare the inspiration to write all these poems and all this art. And that's actually the two most famous characters. He was on Earth, but sometimes he was on Earth just being in a prison for his whole life, which nobody knows. Stuff like that. So he went through all these incarnations and ascended to the scale of an ascended master. Sorry, a very long answer.
Okay. And
you were hoping for a short answer.
No, I was hoping for an answer that makes it easy for viewers to understand. So
you were hoping for an answer that makes sense.
That is perfect. And so so could I say that an ascended master is kind of like a being that has gone through a lot of incarnation and has kind of reached a certain level of understanding of his true nature, such that he can ascend kind of like above this incarnation cycle, or above this 3 dimensions? Or would you say that's true, or can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, it's actually going on a level of not being, not needing to incarnate anymore to to go through all the emotions that are needed or wanted. You don't have to learn anything on the planet, which I think, because we know everything already. We just come here to go through difficult situations, difficult life situations, to have the emotion, just to see ourselves in this position and either have fun or either grieve and being in despair the whole life. Just to have the emotion, that's the most important thing. To take that with us, it's all we take with us, is the emotion as a little package that we put in. I don't have that, I need that and that. Okay, so I incarnate for these three emotions. And an ascended master is one that doesn't have to incarnate anymore, but he can. But Saint Germain is not incarnating anymore. But with this book, he was going very close to an incarnation, because he was very close to me while I was reading the book, writing the book. So to him, it was almost like an incarnation.
Okay.
It was a game to him, but the actual reason why we came together to produce this piece of art or whatever it is actually at the end of the book. You find out what the actual reason is. I don't want to make a spoil. I don't want to spoil my own book.
So and so for our viewers to kind of like introduce, you wrote this book, and I read the book, and I was very fascinated by what you were kind of like, how you were describing your journey of being in contact with this ascended master. And so I'm curious about, could you kind of share, first of all, how did this happen? How did you even get in contact with Saint Germain? And then how was your experience with that? Like, it's kind of, how can we imagine that, or how can we relate to that?
The beginning was I was really drawn to his channelings through a medium called Barbara Bessen, the German medium, which is a very clear channel. She's just, she's not creative or something. She just writes down. It's like a news, reading the news, and I was just completely into all of these books. I was reading it. And the moment I was reading this line or the page, it was always the same feeling. It was like, I knew that. But I just couldn't remember. But when I was reading it, I was like, hey, yeah, that's my knowledge. I know that. Maybe I'm just a little aspect of Saint Germain. I felt very drawn to him, to Saint Germain and Crillon, which is also a group of people who are who you can channel. But Saint Germain was much stronger, and there was a kind of a relationship coming out of this intensive reading of his books. And that came out as a channeling that I received through my partner, Nicole. And she was really a very clear channel just for me. And she was writing down the channeling she received for me, the messages, where with a certain technique, I was reaching a higher level of consciousness. I was lighter. I was able to receive him, and then I got the order. He's a very pushy guy. Saint Germain is really a pushy guy. And then I got the order to write a book. Actually, it was a kind of a persiflage to Conversations with God from Neil Donald Walsh, but only as a vehicle to sell the book, because it's a play of words, Gespräche mit Gott, Gespräche mit Gottet, and then I got into this because I liked it. I liked the play of words. I liked the humor. I like Saint Germain's humor, and he likes mine. So we had the game going. So it's a dialogue.
Yeah. Interesting. And so then, can you tell a little bit about kind of like what happened, or how come that? What is the kind of intention of this book?
It's actually a therapy of myself, written as a dialogue in this book. It's always the main topic of the first half of the book is, hey, I'm not enough to receive a channeling from Saint Germain.
Yeah.
I'm not enough. Because this must be me. It must be my creativity because I'm a writer. I write columns. I got a lively imagination and fantasy, a lot of fantasy in me and creation. So I could actually make up a dialogue. I could actually make that up. And that was always my feeling that I just make that up. Cannot be Saint Germain because I was putting him on such a high level, like
like a
like
pedestal.
God, like yeah, like a somebody to pray to,
Yeah.
So that was the first half of the book was just dedicated to, no, Midi, you are enough. It is me, but even if it wouldn't be me, it would be okay. You are enough to write a book yourself. And that set me free. Once I got that, you are enough, even though you think it's probably you, it's not a channeling that you receive, it's probably just a creation. Even that would be totally okay. And once you got that, you start you stop asking the question, hey, is this really me or is this really you? You go crazy about that. But I actually found my peace, not posing this question anymore.
It sounds a little similar to kind of, even when you're not in contact with an ascended master, but just your own intuition or your own inner core, like learning to trust yourself.
Right.
It feels like a process of kind of similar to that.
Your inner voice you can go into a dialogue with your inner voice. Everybody has the conversation with himself, right?
Yeah.
At home or is it just me?
Is it just you?
And I found out now it's
If
just
you knew
me.
what I'm talking to myself.
Well, the ego tells you that's the beginning of going insane, going crazy.
Yeah.
You talk to yourself. It's like
Yeah.
that stuff. But actually, it's quite healthy to have a conversation with yourself, to discuss stuff. Which you take away that whole I say responsibility about doing wrong actions. You just do because you actually were discussing it, and we decided to do that.
And so I'm curious, you have been in contact with him for a couple of years now, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm curious about what was the process that you went on, because it's kind of like you have this ascended master, this kind of coach or spiritual being in
Yeah.
your head. There's a lot going on that moves, maybe changes you. So what was that process like for you?
He's actually the perfect coach. But at a certain level, at a certain point in my life, I had to, say goodbye to having all the time my coach on the side and leaning on him,
Yeah,
which
okay.
is, I got everything he says, I know already. So I got the knowledge, I got the self-healing ability in me, I got the source connection. I am source, I am love. Once you find that out, you're completely okay by yourself. And you stop asking always for an advice, a counsel. He should tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And then you get into that mode where you take your own decisions and take your own responsibility, which I think is very important and gives you the strength of reacting to different difficult situations in your life with a certain easiness. And then you find your peace. But it's still, still hectic outside, but in your in the core, in your heart, you're got the certainty. No, I can do this. I got this.
Yeah.
Hold my beer. I got this.
Cool. So is it like even was it like a process of just learning? He kind of like maybe helping you to see that you actually don't need someone else to grow, or you don't need someone
That's
else to...
actually it was actually his help to teach me that I'm enough, that I can do it by myself, because I just have had a lack of this knowledge that I am enough. I always had the feeling I'm not good enough. I was a very shy kid. I was very I didn't have a lot of self. I was self-conscious, and yeah, it didn't really help me to get there where I am now. I'm 55 now. It took me a long time to reach that level of balance.
And so, what were the ways that he was? Because you said like you went through a process with him, kind of getting to a point at certain stage where you start to trust yourself and you don't need that guidance necessarily anymore because you have your own inner
Yeah.
guidance or understanding and trust. And so, what kind of situations or maybe tools or way of working with yourself did you go through with him? How does he help you evolve?
Well, I found out while I was writing the book. Yeah, I found out about really deep stuff that we went through together actually in incarnations. There was actually the binding I felt when I first read about him or from him. I knew it's just such a familiar character to me. Just like family, yeah. Just like I know this guy, I know every word he says. And then in the book, while I was writing it, I found out some deep stuff where I was able to transform that because I didn't have to focus on that because I didn't know at all. So that was just some story on the side that went on between the two of us. On the other level, you have the entertainment value of the book, where I'm funny, he's funny, play of words, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. But this was the deep stuff to me, which I think is a big help to other people who read the book, because they think, hey, that's like me. I see the situation, I see the similarity, so I can transform because I got the tool inside of the book. It's written down, the tool how to transform with the help of the master of the transformation, which is Saint Germain.
Yeah.
And it's so easy actually. Once you know the magic sentence, the Harry Potter, the magic Simsalabim speech, it's so easy to lose that stuff within seconds. But you have to focus on what is triggering you. Then you take that and then you ask Saint Germain to come and transform that topic and release it. Transform it into love and release it into space. It's very important to transform the feeling, the energy, the emotion into love and then release it into space. So you actually feed space with love. Otherwise you just neutralize it, which is okay. But while you're at it, you can also transform it into love and help the universe to evolve.
And so it's like it's also that you can ask him for help to transform something. Kind of
Yeah,
like
that's actually his job.
that's his job.
Yeah, that's actually his job. He's
It's
the
a-
master of transformation.
Okay. What about people that are praying to Jesus and for to help? What is the difference?
Yeah, it's funny that you mention him because Jesus and Saint Germain are actually a team.
Okay.
That sounds like the Avengers now, but they are a team because Jesus was starting what Saint Germain is ending now. The ascension to the fifth dimension of the humanity on this planet. And Jesus also is coming around the corner again, but not as a person, not incarnated, but in our hearts. And that's actually the message at the end of the book that I get, that Jesus is actually reactivating our love inside of our heart. and we don't have to look outside. We always tend to look outside. What is happening? Oh, the stars and stuff and stuff and stuff. And actually, the esoterus, the search within me, the search within the human being, is much more important. And if you go inside, you land in your heart. And there is where Jesus actually is, or his power, his gift to us.
And so, would you say Jesus is also an ascended master? Could you also say that, or is it
Yeah.
something different? Or
Jesus actually, he's part of the source. As an ascended master, you're not. But everybody is source. Everybody's connected to God, to light, to love. I don't want to make a scale. Actually, it's just helping us that ascended masters and archangels are on the same level, because you cannot go above, but just by. Yeah, it's difficult. It's so human to try to make a scale.
Yeah.
Who's really on top? So you
Yes,
got that hierarchy, that hierarchy,
the hierarchy,
and that's actually not existing, because even you down here are connected to way up there. It's just all together. So I'd say he's above the ascended masters. Jesus was completely free of karma, sent to the earth, and left the earth completely free of karma, which is amazing. That you come on this planet, which is completely dark and really a tight materia, and to leave that after a life like that, exposing himself like that, and being in this spotlight of everybody, and leaving the planet without leaving any karma marks, was amazing.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and he did it only once. I was only on the planet once. But it helped a lot.
It did, yeah. Very, very interesting topics, definitely. And I'm curious, so what's like for our viewers to maybe if someone is like Saint Germain this calling me, or there's something about him, what first of all, what are maybe some of the messages or some of the tools that he gave you that you could give our viewers to say start on a path of evolving? Is there anything that Saint Germain tells people that they should start doing, or that they can start to do to kind of evolve?
Well, he's very personal. He's very in your face. When it's needed that you face him, he will make himself heard. So either through a book, either through somebody else who's able to receive him, or that you receive him all of a sudden and you think, hey, what's this voice in my head? I'm going crazy. No, it's Saint Germain trying to talk to you, trying to save you, or just trying to help you save yourself. So always, he doesn't save you. Nobody saves you.
Yeah.
You are the only one. You have the free will. That's the greatest gift. It's always possible to change your life in every second, or change into something else. He just helps you. But if you're on the menu, you will realize it. And I don't think that you can go and actively search for Saint Germain. He will, if it's okay, I mean, if it's needed, if it's helping you, he will make himself seen, heard, or come with a presence that you know exactly, oh, no, it's Saint Germain. But probably already watching this right now is a certain flair to being able to receive Saint Germain, because it's why did people click that on that video? And it's always these little decisions to, I want to look at this, and that's already enough, and then you get sucked into it already.
And so you mentioned some tools in the book, or some ways, I think about the flame or something. Is there something that yeah, you would want to share with our viewers that they could
It's
maybe
actually a
start.
violet flame. If you want to neutralize something, I don't want to give away all the practical stuff in here because it's better if you read it and you try it at home than you just hear it in a clip and it's just fast. It's a violet flame. You can ask Saint Germain to transform a topic, an issue you have. And there's also the Ho'oponopono thing where you can actually neutralize or lose people you actually being triggered by. You feel, oh, this guy makes me crazy. He makes me so angry. I could kill him. Then he triggers you. Then you better look at you and lose him with this Ho'oponopono. It's a special form from Hawaii. They because they live on an island, they always had this thing that if you hate somebody on the island, you will never lose him because he's on the same island. You always gonna see him. So they had the way to do this Ho'oponopono ritual where they forgive themselves, where they beg for forgiveness, and to speak out love to each other, so a respect, so you can live on together on the island again, not spreading hate all the time when you see each other. So it's a very cool tool, which is working very fine. And actually, he helped me with finding myself. That was his help, finding myself and my inner strength to expose myself with a book like that. It's a lot of stuff in that book that I am not very proud of sharing with the world.
Yeah.
That my mother will read that, once, while she only read to the half. But that's my mother. But he will read that stuff and he will be like, oh, my son is telling this to everybody. Everybody can read that. But it helped me to know who I am, which is very important. And I think that was actually the reason why I started that project with Saint Germain. But he actually said it's not okay to write another book with him. I should write actually a book with Jesus.
You should write the book with Jesus.
Jesus, Sananda is actually his spiritual name. Jesus is called Sananda, and I still didn't catch the right moment to do that, or maybe I'm just too lazy. But somehow it didn't feel right.
Yeah.
I would have a lot of time. I had a lot of time last year during Corona break, and I had all the time of my life, but I didn't write it because it didn't feel right.
Yeah. It's very interesting, huh? From that I mentioned Jesus before, and then the next book is gonna be with Jesus.
Yeah, maybe I'm just again a bit spooked by it's Jesus.
His name and his like.
It's
the idea.
The label is so strong. The label is so he's such a big name. And he's so famous. Maybe I'm a bit starstruck. I don't know.
And isn't it like that often that we have these ideas that seem great, be it Saint Germain, be it Jesus, or be it just something that you would like to be or have or be in contact with, and you're just like thinking like, well, I'm not good enough for that. Isn't that just kind of like a natural tendency of?
Yeah, I think so. Well, maybe it's just human because you forget about
Exactly,
all
yeah.
your abilities.
And
You
you
forget
kinda-
about helping yourself, and you think you tend to go into a religious formation where you can pray to something and receive forgiveness or greatness or calmness. But you always have to go out and look, who could help me? Are you my angel? Oh, I could marry her, she's my angel. And he's one of the leaders, he's my guru. This is all wrong. I mean, I don't want to go into the judgment. it's probably a right way to spend your life, or to
It's just it
get
happens. It's
lost
not bad.
into.
It's not like bad that it happens. It's just the
No,
reality.
I don't want to say it's wrong, because it's wrong to say it's wrong. Well, it's wrong to say it's wrong. It's wrong.
Is it
Where
wrong
does
to
it
say it's
stop?
wrong? Are you
It's
judging me
endless.
wrong?
It's endless. But you see, we're laughing about this because it's actually a statement of Saint Germain, that if you can laugh about some topic, some issue, it's not an issue anymore, because you lost the drama.
Yeah.
You come out of the drama and you're in the light, and it's easy, so you can laugh about it. So it's ended. It's not on the list of stuff you have to transform anymore. That's an easy scale to show you, oh, I can laugh about this, I can make a joke, and it's really easy. Then it's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, that's also something that Lester Levinson says. We talk about this, about releasing a lot on this channel as well, and he also talks about when you're releasing, you should learn to release when you're high. Saying like you should learn to actually get into those states of just feeling joy, because that's where the stuff actually gets released. Not when you're just only digging deep and just kind of like dramatizing all this.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But also getting into this light kind of like energy.
Right. If you go into the drama, which is very human,
Which
and
is very human.
some people just love it, even though
Yeah.
it feels terrible to be in the drama. Some
It's
people
exciting.
love
Something.
it.
Yeah.
To watch a sad movie and then cry, and then we're all so poor, and we're all so damaged, and you can go
Yeah.
through life like that.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
But you can go and see, okay, this triggers me, makes me cry. So you go there, you transform the issue, the topic, and then you release it. And then it's gone. And then you still can watch a sad movie, you still can cry, but it doesn't trigger you anymore. It doesn't connect you to your own life. You just can have the empathy to go with the figure in the movie, and have the empathy and think, oh, this is terrible, but it doesn't go deeper with you.
Yeah. And so, kind of to summarize, or kind of like to slowly get to an end of the conversation, is there something you would kind of like want to share with our viewers about maybe Grand Saint Germain, about the book, or just about the search for finding your own core?
Well, it would be too much to give out this an advice, the perfect advice, how to reach the light, because we are already light.
Yeah.
We don't have to write any books, we don't have to read books, we don't have to do anything. We could just incarnate and just stare into the nothing like that our whole life, and we still would do it right. There is no wrong, and there's no judgment. And once you don't judge yourself, you don't judge other people, you save so much energy to not get into some drama or fight or some friction with somebody else that drags you down into the cellar. And you have to keep the vibe high. And the vibe, keep it in high, is to have a party, to have a lot of fun. Which a lot of people think, no, we're not allowed to have fun here on this planet. We have to work, and we have to do this, and we have to obey orders, and we have to obey the government and everything, which is not fun. So we rather go with the flow and just stare.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Which sounds a lot like, again, the same topic of just... we don't have to do this or that or kind of any kind of specific thing, but just understand what we are, kind of like connecting to that.
Right. To find that out. Maybe that's the only thing we have to find, into that ocean of forgetting everything is the name of the game. We leave where we come from, we leave the thing like, we go on a journey in a country we don't know anything about it, and all the memory would be erased, and that's to us that's great. It's an adventure. We love that. We booked that flight and thinking, hey, we're gonna find it out anyhow. And once we die, once we leave the planet, once we drop the body, everything is erased again, and we're like, oh, laughing about this stuff, and wow, this was crazy. It's like a crazy dream. This is actually a dream. This is not reality. There is no thing existing called reality. Everything is reality, and at the same time, it's not.
Yeah. Exactly. And so, unfortunately, the book is in German, so not everyone can read it. But if people want to buy the book, or where can they get the book?
I actually have a website where it's especially for the book to buy it in Switzerland. If you want to buy it in Germany or Austria, it's on 26.de, 26.de. And what's actually the website? It's Gespräche Midi Gottet.ch in Switzerland. If you want to buy it, Gespräche Midi Gottet.ch.
I will link it in the video description.
You will link it. Oh, it's great. You're such a modern person. Thank you.
What a modern person, yeah. And will you maybe translate it someday, or is it not?
Well, I thought, yeah, into 144 different languages. I heard. That's what I got.
If you're lucky, at some point, you will read it in English.
Yeah. That would be great.
Yeah.
Well, that will be great. But sometimes it takes some time to go there.
So thank you so much, Midi, for this interview, for coming on my channel, talking about all of these things.
It was a
pleasure. And
we said pleasure at the same time.
That's it. So goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
If you liked the video, please hit the like button, and if you want to subscribe and see more of those videos, go ahead and subscribe. And let me know in the comments what were your thoughts on this topic, on Saint Germain, on this whole interview. I'm very curious about that, and I wish you all a great day. Goodbye, everyone.